Ice Cube, the iconic rapper and actor known for his unfiltered honesty, found himself in the center of a storm when whispers of a hidden truth involving Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and P. Diddy surfaced. It all started on a quiet Tuesday afternoon when Ice Cube received an anonymous tip. The message was cryptic, but the implication was clear: there was something shady going on in the upper echelons of the music industry. The tipster claimed that P. Diddy was involved in a scandal that could shake the very foundation of hip-hop, and that Beyoncé and Jay-Z were covering it up. Intrigued and a little skeptical, Ice Cube began his own investigation. He reached out to old friends in the industry, piecing together fragments of information. What he uncovered was a tangled web of jealousy, betrayal, and ambition. Rumors hinted at financial discrepancies and personal vendettas that dated back years. One night, while reviewing the notes he had gathered, Ice Cube received a call from a former associate of Diddy. The voice on the other end was shaky, but the revelations were startling. Diddy, it seemed, had been involved in some questionable business practices, and Beyoncé and Jay-Z were linked to him in ways that could damage their pristine public images. The next day, Ice Cube found himself in front of a camera for a live stream. He addressed his followers, hinting at the truth he was about to unveil. "You know me, I don't hold back," he said, his trademark intensity shining through. "There's been a lot of talk in the shadows, and it's time to bring it into the light." As his audience grew, so did the tension. He dropped hints about the connections between the trio, framing it all as a tale of power and corruption. Speculations flew. Was Diddy involved in something darker? Were Beyoncé and Jay-Z complicit in his cover-up, driven by a desire to protect their empire? Days passed, and the internet exploded. Fans and critics alike dissected every word. Ice Cube's revelation had sparked a wildfire of conspiracy theories, but also a new sense of empowerment among those who felt disillusioned by the music industry's glitzy facade. Eventually, the heat became too much. Beyoncé and Jay-Z called a press conference, determined to address the allegations head-on. Ice Cube watched as they took the stage, poised yet visibly tense. In a surprising twist, they didn't deny their connection to Diddy. Instead, they acknowledged the complexities of their industry, highlighting the importance of accountability and transparency. "We've made mistakes, just like anyone else," Jay-Z admitted. Beyoncé spoke about the need for unity and healing within the community, calling for a new era of honesty in hip-hop. Ice Cube felt a sense of relief wash over him. In a way, his exposé had opened the door for a much-needed conversation. Instead of a scandal tearing them down, it had become a catalyst for change. As the dust settled, Ice Cube knew one thing for certain: the truth had a way of coming to light, and sometimes, it took a little controversy to ignite real progress. The music industry was forever altered, and for the first time in a long while, it felt like the voices of the artists could be heard louder and clearer than ever before. As the press conference concluded, the buzz surrounding Ice Cube's revelations began to evolve. Social media exploded with reactions, and hashtags like #TruthInHipHop and #CubeExposed trended for days. Fans debated the implications of Beyoncé and Jay-Z's statements, while critics called for more transparency in the industry. Ice Cube, sensing the momentum, decided to take his investigation further. He reached out to journalists, inviting them to join him in exploring the hidden corners of the music world. Together, they began to unravel a deeper story, one that went beyond individual scandals and pointed to systemic issues within the industry, such as exploitation and inequality. As the weeks passed, Ice Cube found himself meeting with various artists who shared their own experiences of being silenced or overshadowed. He interviewed up-and-coming musicians, producers, and even former industry executives, each with their tales of struggle and triumph. These stories, raw and powerful, painted a picture of an industry in desperate need of reform. In the midst of this, a curious development occurred. P. Diddy, who had remained largely silent in the face of the controversy, announced he was planning a live-streamed event. Speculation ran rampant. Would he address the allegations? Would he confront Ice Cube directly? On the day of the event, millions tuned in. Diddy appeared on screen, dressed in his signature style, but his demeanor was different, more somber. He began by acknowledging the accusations, but rather than defending himself, he chose to reflect on his journey and the mistakes he had made. "We're all human," he said, his voice heavy with emotion. "I've fallen short, and it's time for us to hold each other accountable." This unexpected vulnerability shifted the narrative. Rather than a showdown, it felt more like a reckoning. Diddy urged his peers to come together, advocating for a more supportive and honest industry. "We need to uplift each other, not tear each other down," he declared. Ice Cube, watching from his home, felt a sense of cautious optimism. Perhaps this was the turning point he had hoped for. He decided to invite Diddy for an interview on his own platform, a move that surprised many. Would Diddy accept? The answer came the next day when Diddy posted a video, agreeing to join Ice Cube in a candid discussion. The interview, when it aired, was electric. Ice Cube and Diddy sat across from each other, the tension palpable but softened by a mutual respect. They discussed everything, from their beginnings in the industry to the pressures that come with fame. Diddy opened up about his regrets, his struggle to maintain authenticity in a world driven by profit. As their conversation unfolded, the atmosphere transformed. Ice Cube pressed Diddy on specific allegations, but instead of defensiveness, Diddy offered insights into the challenges artists face and the pressures that lead to unethical decisions. They laughed, shared stories, and, most importantly, listened to each other. By the end of the interview, a sense of camaraderie had formed. Fans were inspired not just by the revelations but by the raw honesty shared between two titans of hip-hop. The dialogue continued beyond that single conversation, leading to collaborations between artists who had previously been at odds. Motivated by the momentum, Ice Cube organized a series of events titled Voices of the Industry. These gatherings brought together artists, producers, and fans to discuss issues facing the music world. They held panels on everything from mental health to the impact of social media, fostering a sense of community that had been missing for too long. The events became a movement, encouraging artists to speak out and support one another. Many shared their stories of struggle, creating a platform where honesty and vulnerability were celebrated rather than shunned. In the months that followed, Ice Cube's role as a catalyst for change solidified. He collaborated with various artists on projects that emphasized unity and healing. Beyoncé, Jay-Z, and Diddy even joined forces for a charity single, sending a powerful message about resilience and togetherness in the face of adversity. As Ice Cube reflected on how far they had come, he realized that the music industry was shifting. Artists were no longer just cogs in a machine, they were a community, ready to support one another. What started as an exposé had turned into a renaissance, a time of growth, healing, and newfound purpose. And through it all, Ice Cube remained a steadfast voice, committed to pushing boundaries and advocating for change, knowing that the true power of hip-hop lay in its ability to tell stories that mattered. The legacy of that time would echo through the industry for years to come, inspiring future generations to speak their truths and uplift each other.